Well, we were live. Hey, this is an election day episode of Swan Dive Live. Just a little bit of technical difficulties at the top. This is where we talk about the latest episodes of Swan Dive. Today is election day in the United States, and we have a brand new episode with Chrissy Philalethes, the love of truth, the love of everything holy. Stu Sheldon, Ron Rothberg, welcome to Swan Dive Live, Stu. Welcome to election day.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Ron. You know, I have to admit, I woke up this morning. I live in Costa Rica. I woke up this morning at 5 a.m. in the throes of a tormenta, a giant storm. There's a hurricane hitting Nicaragua, and we were getting the edges of that. And the trees were blowing, and it was dark and stormy and misty. And I thought, oh, God, no, this, not this. However, I feel hopeful, and I feel like, you know, listen, in life, not to be preachy, but you show up or you don't. And one of the things I'm proud of with Swan Dive is that this last month, the guests we've had with the Wide Awakes, and we'll have a few others, today's guest, Chrissy, last week's guest, Michelle, each of these guests is really leaning in to changing things for the better. They're really doing the work to affect this election today. If we win today, it's in no small part due to these people and the people that we've earlier had on Swan Dive, all of whom are working for the betterment of society. And so to be a small part of that feels good and gives me hope and makes me feel like, you know, there's not a whole lot more we could have done. And at this point, you know, we hope we set the table and we'll start to feast here, you know, tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, the feast is beginning right now because I've been saying all along, I feel just so good. This is the first election cycle where I've checked every box. I've never done this before. I've showed up at rallies. I've donated to the candidates that I believe in. I've had signs. I've participated in marches. I have educated and helped my children. This is their first election cycle. I have manned the phones. I know you have done that as well. And like you said, we're not leaving anything on the table, and that feels good. And the content that we've created, including Chrissy, which is live today, she's an interesting story because her surname is Truth. You know, it is the what is it?
The love of truth.
The love of truth.
Yeah, the Greek word.
And the love of truth right now is something that we all have to believe in, that the truth that we all have, which is clouded. There's a lot of cloud around the truth, but we have to look through that and understand that there are a lot of folks that are pulling in the same direction as we are. And the love of truth is that we want this democracy to survive. And we had this huge fear that it wouldn't. We're going through something right now that I don't think I hope we'll never go through again. So Christy's story is she's a digital pioneer. And she has an impressive resume, Stu. You ran into her at a For Freedoms event. She's got so much knowledge, and she has done social media for social good.
Yeah. Listen, Chrissy's a superhero. Early to the game in the .com, you know, in Internet 1.0 back in the late 90s, early aughts. Co-founded a company, sold that company after a few years for $200 million, employed 250 people, took good care of those people, and went on to ultimately work with Bono's RED organization for the better part of 10 years, really leaning into the global health AIDS pandemic, making a big difference. She talks about the nexus of technology, culture, communication, and purpose. And that word purpose really sticks with me. It's about purpose this day. It's everything's so many things. I shouldn't say everything, but so many things are so broken and so sad. And it's our job to be purposeful in what we do and how we use our time. Here's a woman that's clearly doing that and been doing that for all of her adult life. And also our last week's guest, Michelle Wu, is one of the co-founders of For Freedoms. She's an arts consultant, a student of art history. She's a mother. And she talks about presence. She talks about someone, we asked her kind of about epic moments in her past. And she said, you know what? I honestly don't remember most of my life because I was distracted most of the time. And I thought, well, that's incredibly honest. And frankly, I don't remember a lot of my life either. But she said, having a child grow inside of her body woke her up. And now she practices mindfulness and she practices meditation. And while she's doing all of these incredible things in the arts world and the activist world, she's also being where she is when she is there, which is a challenge for everyone, certainly for me, to take a step back and take a deep breath and recognize that the present moment is all that there really is and everything else is theoretical and blah, blah, blah. So these two women are kind of heroes of mine, sheroes. And their stories are beautiful. They're incredibly humble. They share them elegantly and with vulnerability. And it's just an honor. And I'm proud of us, Ron. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of me for doing this. But I'm more excited to just be in the presence of these incredible people that inspire me and will inspire all of you that take the time to listen to these beautiful stories.
Michelle Wu, one bright pearl, and that's her chakra. That's her mantra right now. We don't know exactly what that means. It means something different for everyone, but both of those women have some amazing pearls of wisdom that they share. And when we look back on this body of work over this time, that's one thing that I feel most proud of, that we'll have something that's there behind us during these times. Before we got on this, you talk about being present, being mindful. The one memory, and I told you this, I had this just very vivid memory of you and me at the 2008 election on the precipice of Barack Obama becoming the first African-American in the corner office. And I was surrounded by people. I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was surrounded by people who were naysayers that did not believe in what was going on. They did not buy into the change that was necessary. They denied a lot of things that are really the truth, the essence of where we need to get as a society. And I was down and I was really feeling like I needed something. And you called me and you made me feel so good by saying, just know you're on the right side of history. And that brings us to this moment, knowing that we are on the right side of history and that our oars are pulling toward the right shore and that we've been pulling hard. And the people, like you mentioned at the top, For Freedoms and the Wide Awakes are pulling really hard. And if we stand behind them around this artistic community that sees more than we see, we'll get there. The shore is waiting for us.
Yeah. Well, thank you. You're pulling me over the finish line this time because I'm nervous. Yeah. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic, but very cautiously optimistic. And I've got a bottle of Moet chilling in the fridge, and I will crack that thing as soon as possible, man, and chug it in one gulp. But it's nice to share this with you, and it's nice to share this with the incredible guests that we are fortunate enough to bring along and that are coming down the pike. Don't go anywhere, folks. This is we're just getting warmed up at Swan Dive, and hopefully throughout Biden's 2 terms or his 1 term and Kamala's term, we'll be bringing you beautiful content, beautiful stories, and pivotal moments in meaningful lives.
And this is the one that's available right now, Chrissy Philalethe's. It's on swandive.us. It's on Apple. It's on Spotify. It's wherever you get your podcasts. Even Stu's favorite thing to do is just to say, hey, Alexa, play the latest episode of Swan Dive, and poof, it'll start going. Stu, this is going to be an epic day, and I'm so glad to be having these conversations with you. So let's keep it going.
Thank you, my brother. I love you. Everybody, welcome to Swan Dive. Join us, and thanks for being a part of this journey.